Joining me now to talk about what strategy the U.S. should take in Yemen is investigative journalist and RT contributor Wayne Madsen. Wayne, thanks for being here. So, how come President Obama decided to continue this Bush-era policy?
Well, I think it's a lot. It's like a lot of the policies of the Obama administration. It seems like in many cases it's the third term of George W. Bush. What we know about this particular incident, according to the Washington Post, and Dana Priest reported this today, and I might add that she's one of the few people left at the Post who does good, hard-hitting investigative reporting. She reported that there are U.S. Joint Special Operations Command personnel, Special Forces personnel in Yemen, along with U.S. intelligence officials that are working with the Yemenis, but they're not going out and doing the actual assassinations themselves. They're providing signals intelligence, eavesdropping on communications, and also imagery surveillance, probably from these remotely piloted vehicles. But we do also know from the Washington Post report that one of the individuals they targeted for assassination was a U.S. citizen named Anwar al-Awlaki. What happens if they get the name spelled wrong like they did with Abdul Muttalib from Nigeria? Could they possibly kill the wrong person, the wrong American citizen even? And who is the president? A lot of people are asking, who is the president to authorize the assassination of U.S. citizens in other countries? After all, he's not the judge, jury, and executioner. He's commander-in-chief and president.
Well, that's exactly what I was about to ask you. I mean, is it legal to go around murdering U.S. citizens in other countries?
Well, certainly this happened with a Predator attack on a U.S. citizen in Yemen following the 9/11 attacks, and President Bush did authorize that. But we also know that the firm Blackwater Z has been involved in some of these operations in places like Afghanistan and Pakistan, possibly other countries as well. So here we have the continuation of this Bush-era operation to assassinate people, whether they're U.S. citizens or not. And we know that these private military contractors like Blackwater Z are involved in this. Where is the oversight? It looks like Congress is basically not asking the tough questions. And of course, on top of everything, we still have Bob Gates, Bush's Secretary of Defense, in charge of the Pentagon.
And you know, you mentioned al-Awlaki, and many unnamed officials have said that chances were missed to, quote, take him out because there was still discussions going on as to whether or not this was legal to kill a U.S. citizen abroad. Do you know anything more about that case?
Well, what we know is that the president authorized the attack, obviously knew that al-Awlaki was one of the targets, and if there were some discussions with the Justice Department, for example, whether this was legal, why did President Obama go ahead and authorize it when it was still in a gray area? It shows an individual, a president, who may be listening to too many people in the intelligence community and not enough of the lawyers at the Department of Justice.
And you know, we've been talking a lot here on RT about the State of the Union that's going to happen in less than an hour. Do you think that President Obama is going to address Yemen in that speech? And if so, what do you think he's going to say about it?
I think what we're going to get in the State of the Union is the standard, you know, every one of his agencies, the federal departments and agencies, come in with their laundry list. He'll be basically reading off the wish list for the CIA, for the Department of National Intelligence, and for the Department of Defense. I don't think we're going to get anything other than, you know, what they want to do. And that's really what the State of the Union represents, the laundry list for what these various departments and agencies want to do in the next year.
And there's been a lot of pressure on President Obama to attack Yemen more, or, you know, attack terrorists within the country. What's the right thing to do in this situation? Can he get anything accomplished without maybe going around and murdering U.S. citizens?
Well, and the other problem with Yemen is there's several different conflicts going on in Yemen. It's a very complex situation. We have the Houthi rebellion of the Shias in the north. We have the South Yemeni independence movement. These are basically secularists, they're Arab socialist Ba'ath people, very similar to Syria and Saddam's regime in Iraq. They don't like the government of President Saleh. They want to break away. They think they got a raw deal in the unification. If we go around and start killing the enemies of the dictator president of Yemen, then we're going to have a lot more blowback coming our way.
Well, Wayne Madsen, thank you so much for talking about this important issue. Well,